Yo, what's going on? It's your boy, Mr. Locario, the bad boy of the dating game. I just dropped my new bad boy membership program. This one is called 10 Rules for Giving Women Your Time and Attention. All right, so guys, listen. This is very, very important for you to know, because what happens is based on how you allocate your time and attention when you're dealing with these women is going to dictate the outcomes that you're going to have with these women, right? So a lot of times the reason why you guys are having trouble in the game is because you might be giving a woman too much time too soon. Or you might be giving a woman like a little bit of time when you actually need to give this particular woman more time, right? So in this program, I break down all of those things, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a quick clip of this, right? Now, after you watch this, make sure you click the link below or go straight to badboymembership.com so you can watch the rest of this program and the other 100 plus audio and video dating advice tutorials, all right? Check this out. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go 1 through 10, and I'm going to talk about the 10 things that you need to know, 10 rules for giving women your time and attention. All right. So let's just jump right into this. So first thing we got on the list is this. First thing is the amount of time you give a woman needs to equal the amount of value she gives you. Okay. The amount of time you give a woman needs to be equal to the amount of value she gives you. All right. So let me break this down. So what that means is that when you first meet a woman, for example, right, she hasn't really given you any value. She hasn't really given you anything because why? You don't know her. You haven't experienced anything together. You haven't really given her too much instruction, right? So things are brand new, right? So because things are brand new, that means she gets little time, right? Now, as you continue to deal with this woman, right, that means that woman is, being more cooperative, more consistent, right? And the more cooperative and consistent she is, right, the more value she should be giving you over time. Because the more time you're spending with this woman, right, the more value she should be giving to you because you're giving her instruction, direction, and she's cooperating with your leadership, right? So what happens is that, the amount of time that you're giving this woman needs to always equal the amount of value she's giving you. Now, this is the mistakes a guy would probably make with this, right? Is that he might say, okay, well, what if, I meet this woman and the first week I know her, she's cooking, cleaning, doing my laundry. She's giving me money. She's doing all this other extra stuff, right? So, shouldn't I give her more time because she's giving me all this value, up front? And the answer is no. Because what happens is the amount of value that she's giving to you, right, still needs to be dictated by you. So what that means is that the amount of, time that you're spending with this woman, right, what happens is that you still are in control of the time that this woman is getting, right? So if, for example, when I tell you guys to vet women, I tell you guys, listen, just hook up with this girl for the first 3 months, right? So if you're hooking up with this girl just for the first 3 months, where does she have time to do your laundry and do all this other extra stuff? She doesn't, because you're controlling the dynamic of the time being spent. So she just comes over to your crib, you have sex and all that other stuff. She's out of there within an hour or so, right? So what happens is that as you continue to deal with this woman, right, she can give you more value. So let's say, for example, you've been with this woman for like 9 or 10 months, and now you're giving her some, let's say, instructions to help you out with, some business thing you have going on, right? And so what happens is that because it's been 9 months, because there's more time that has been allotted and you've been giving her 9 months of time, right? That means the value that she's giving you is her helping you with this other thing. But her helping you with this other thing is only happening at that time because the value that she's giving, which is helping with that thing, correlates to the amount of time that she's getting from you. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times what happens is that guys, they mess all this up because they get a girl to do so much stuff for them and give a woman so much time at the beginning, and also get a woman to give a bunch of stuff at the beginning. And now what happens is that because she gets all this stuff at the beginning, she feels entitled, right, to the same amount of stuff or even more quicker, right? So if at the 9-month mark, right? This woman is doing all these things for you. That makes sense than her doing that at the 9-day mark. You understand? So if it's only been like a week and a half and she's doing all this stuff, what happens is that you are basically giving her too much time or energy and attention and telling her to do all these things, right? So even though she's giving you all this value, it's not the right time for her to give you all that value. So I want you to understand this clearly, is that the amount of time you give the woman needs to be equal to the amount of value she gives you. But the amount of value she gives you should be the value that needs to be given at the appropriate time. And the appropriate time is you making sure you control the dynamic of how much time she gets from you. You see what I'm saying? So basically, if you're controlling the amount of time she gets, then essentially you're also controlling the amount of value she can give you. You see what I'm saying? But the amount of value she should give you is correlated to the amount of time she's getting from you, right? So this, I'm telling you guys, this is some deep stuff, because check this out. If you were to be dating a girl for, let's say, a month or something, you've been seeing a girl for a month, right? And you've been smashing her, whatever it is like that. And then all of a sudden within that month, you say, hey, let me borrow $10,000. You understand? So what happens is that you're asking for a lot of value too quickly. You understand what I'm saying? And what happens is that because you're asking a lot of value too quickly, right? What happens is that she's going to feel entitled to more time from you, more energy from you. Why? Because you're asking for all that value too quickly. The value needs to be correlated with the amount of time. You understand? Because then now, let's say you've been with this girl for a year and a half, and she's now your girlfriend, and she's been cooperative for a year and a half. What happens is that you telling her, let me borrow $10,000 real quick, right? That correlates with all of the time and energy you've given her, right? So now she doesn't feel entitled. She feels like, oh, well, this makes sense. You're my man. I love you. You know, we've been through all these things. So her giving you the $10,000 is in direct correlation to the time and attention you've given her for the past year and a half, right? So make sure you understand that concept. The amount of time you give a woman needs to equal the amount of value she gives you, right? So that's number one. Now, second thing we have on the list is this. Now, this is very interesting. So I want you to pay attention to this. So number two is